All 13 Sibanye-Stillwater employees who were trapped underground at its Masakhane mine have been recovered by mine rescue personnel, the company has said on Saturday. The 6 employees who were successfully rescued were in a stable condition in hospital. The families of the employees have been contacted and are receiving necessary support and counselling. The miners were trapped following the tremors in the area on Thursday night. Later, 2 more seismic movements measuring 2.1 and 3.4 on the Richter scale were felt. Now we have in studio Fhatuwani Ramagwede from the Council of Geoscience to shed more light on the tremors. Ramagwede.
No.
Well, you see, we have spoken to politicians, we've spoken to unions or the labor movements about this matters. When talking about seismic movements, what are we talking about exactly?
Seismic movement, that's a movement which are caused by forces that come from underneath. Mm-hmm. Now, particularly when it comes to faulting, because we start by having earth plates that are moving. When one is diving another plate, then it causes seismicity. Mm-hmm. But in the case of that we're looking at,
yes,
we do have geological structures there, structure like faulting and also dikes which came through the fault. Fault in essence is a crack on the ground along which there is movement. That movement can be up or down or sideways.
Look, that's big English. I mean, it's not so easy for an ordinary person to understand. Do miners know all about these things before they go underground?
Unfortunately, not necessarily.
Yeah.
However, when you go underground, is that you are going searching for the hidden treasure which is down there.
Yeah.
And also, when it's there, how, in some instances, how was that deposit formed, created? It came through fluids of water. I'm just giving one example.
Yes.
Where there is that crack, along which there were movement, mm-hmm, and below, underneath, there will be like a hot molten rock that we normally say volcano coming up.
Yeah. But
it did not reach the surface, and that one is the heat source which produce heat, which acid coming, the liquids that are coming up will be dissolving the minerals in the rock and then concentrating them in a particular place. That is just one of the many theories that we know about formation of ore deposits.
Okay.
And now, later on, those minerals will be buried under greater depth, and of which later on, that fault, as you go, it is buried under greater depth, under big pressure. Now we start mining it. When we open that area, we'll be releasing the pressure. As you release the pressure, now movement starts along those areas again. Because in most instances, find that here we are reviving an older crack along which there have been movement. And as we are taking away the rocks, opening the room, pressure is being released because you need to start to fill that space where now the rocks have been taken away.
Yes.
Hence, the rocks are best,
okay,
and they come up. That is just one of the theories.
Now, okay, how often does this happen? And I mean, I'm trying to imagine that, is it part of the risks that one has to take when you go into that business?
Into that business, yes, it is a part of the risk that one has to take. Mm. However, there's always precautions that are taken to ensure that we do have minimal occurrences, instances like this. Mm. For example, in a situation where it just happened all of a sudden where you don't know, then you find yourself in trouble. Mm-hmm. And then there can be cases where initially there's some signs that happened, and then you can see that something is coming here. For example, historically, we know in the mines there used to be rats before the rock movement, rats used to run away. As they're running away, and then the people will also know that, now a big bang is coming, because somehow they've got a way of sensing the movement, that is something is going to happen now, and then they leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which areas are more at risk?
The deeper you go, because the pressure is there, is mounted, that's where one has to be very careful into how you approach the activities.
Now, are the mining companies doing enough really to educate even the workers themselves, the miners, and us as the public to know and understand what happens in that? Because like I said, what you're saying is just big English to a lot of people.
Ideally in the mine, to the days that I worked in the mine, constantly safety is priority number one, where at all the times, I know we spend time going to the training center, we've been trained, where people will be told that, is your area safe? Is your neighbor safe? You're not only looking at yourself, everybody else. That's where very safety conscious. I know during those days, there were also rating systems where the mine will go on 5-star rating, which means that we had so many ships without having any instance like this.
Okay.
But that was more looking at cases where, as individuals, we need to do something to protect ourselves.
Okay.
But where natural occurrences do happen, these are things that are just beyond human control, but we just need to have a way of how do you react quickly then to address what happened.
Okay, so there are natural ones, but there are also the ones that are caused by human presence underground, obviously. So when you observe as the Geoscience Council, are we not risking as a people? Is it not perhaps time that we stopped some of this mining?
I wouldn't say it's time that we stop some of the mining.
Okay, then how do we avoid this tremors?
Like I said, the idea is that, the mining guys will have to look into all the safety precautions that they did take.
Okay.
Of which that is beyond my scope. With me, I only talk about the science behind earthquakes, how they happen, and also then the mining engineers and the safety guys and the rock mechanics are the ones who, when they design the mine, will be looking into all those instances, and also during the activities, again, looking into how do we ensure that everybody is safe in the environment.
Can you tell us when next we are going to have this tremors?
Unfortunately, right now, we cannot say when is the next one happening. But what we do know sometimes is that, once a big one happens, very soon another one follows. Okay. As what we already had happens now. Okay. That one happened and then the next one happened again.
So what are the precautions?
The precautions, again, is just from the mining side, of which my knowledge is limited when it comes to the mining activity itself. It's just that they need to ensure that there will be a safe place where people will go to. And also in the area they're working on, is it properly secured for safety purposes? And if anything else which looks like it might be suspect, then pull people out quickly. And also your support mechanisms are there on time, and also at the correct distance from the stop phase.
And perhaps finally, is South Africa at risk of this?
When you look at earthquakes, normally South Africa is not at risk because we are on a stable craton, stable rock where seismicity is minimal. But this one, it is more induced by the mining activities because we're going deeper.
Fhatuwani Ramagwede,
Yeah.
Well, that was Fhatuwani Ramagwede. He's the technical advisor there at the Council for Geoscience there at the office of the CEO. He knows most about this earthquakes and all. But for now, we're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll continue. This is still news.